And welcome back, Hasky here with another guide for Banjo Kazooie. Today's walkthrough is going to be on collecting all of the Jiggies in Click Clock Wood. This video is going to be serving as the final part of our Jiggy series. This video is going to be quite a bit longer than some of the other ones. It'll actually be the longest Banjo Kazooie walkthrough video I've made so far, in fact. So I do hope you're comfy. There's going to be a lot of things to be doing. Going to be starting off the video here by opening up the springtime door. As you can see, I have yet to open any of them on my save file here. I'll be opening those up as we navigate about the level. So one thing to keep in mind with Click Clock Wood is that unlike some of the other levels in the game, the Jiggies in this one will require quite a bit more setup than you might be used to. In many cases in Click Clock Wood, what you'll do is you'll do something in one season, and you won't actually get anything for it. You won't get a Jiggy for it at that moment. And instead, you'll come back in a different season and kind of see what changes you had on the world. A good example, of course, is this right here. We're going to be planting a flower, probably the world's fastest growing flower, with those blue seeds. Definitely not eggs or anything. But yeah, as you can see, no Jiggy for us at this moment. Not yet, at least. So we will be returning in summertime, and actually, in that case, in autumn as well. And it won't be until fall that we actually get that Jiggy. Anyway, though, moving past that, we're going to go ahead and start climbing the tree for the first time. We're going to be doing that quite a bit, actually, in this video. This first time, however, there's not really a whole lot up here. There's a switch and one other thing, as I go way too early and just run right into that enemy. I also notice that I'm kind of low on health, so I'll go ahead and snag these honeycombs real quick. But yeah, if you're not familiar, these bird enemies are quite similar to the Champa enemies. Those are those big green guys with the sharp teeth that pop out of those holes. They were seen in like Clanker's Cavern and what other ones? Rusty Bucket Bay. But those guys just spawn like when you get too close, so if you kind of get into their range while attacking, you can consistently hit them pretty easily. The irony of that is that I pretty much ran into one of the very first ones that we saw in this video. Oh well. Anyway, going to be opening up the summertime portion of the level. Like I said, doors are still closed in my save file here. Luckily, there's at least one other thing that we can be doing up here in the tree as Banjo Kazooie, and it involves that gigantic egg over there that we just barely saw a glimpse of. I'll be doing these sort of semi-technical jumps right there. I probably wouldn't recommend doing that with the Talon Trot ability. I think that's the only time I do that in this clip here. There's no real plan B when using Kazooie like that. Otherwise, if you use the double jump, I feel like you have a little bit more control. But yeah, we'll be hopping up on top of that gigantic egg and using the Beak Buster ability on it, the ground pound, and shattering that thing wide open, because I guess that's how birds hatching works. Now that we're done in the tree, we'll hop down and actually get kind of lucky and land on that branch. That kind of wasn't really intentional. But that will get us down to Mumbo's place. I forgot to mention that, yes, you will be turning into the bee form here. Of course you will, in order to collect all of the Jiggies on this map. So make sure to bring in 25 Mumbo tokens if you have yet to do that transformation, or at least be super close, so that you can collect any Mumbo tokens within the map. Alrighty, now that we are the bee, we're going to be flying up here and entering the Beehive. There's actually no Jiggy for us this time in the Beehive. There will be in other, or at least one other, season. But this time we're actually just entering the Beehive for a Jinjo. It's kind of funny watching me spin around trying to land. You can't use the ground pound as the bee, which is like the way I land pretty much anywhere when flying in Banjo Kazooie. All of a sudden, I don't have that ability. I don't know how to handle that. Anyway, climbing up here. Love this area. Love the color in here. It's pretty cool. Gonna grab that pink Jinjo and head right on back out. The bees in here being pretty chill with us, since we are also a bee. The next time we come in here, they will not be so chill. Spoiler alert. Alrighty, back outside now. We're actually going to fly pretty much directly above where the Beehive is. And you can see here there's one of these fly traps. They're called Snare Bears. I finally looked that up. And there's a green Jinjo. Ironically, the Snare Bears don't seem to have an issue with you standing on them as the bee. They don't seem to be interested in bees, only bears. I think that's kind of funny. Anyway, though, we're also going to fly. I pretty much just fly up to the very top of the map. And this one's pretty sneaky. I figure a lot of people are going to miss this Jiggy. It's just kind of up here, out in the middle of nowhere. You know, so high up that you almost feel like you're going out of bounds or something like that. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people miss that one. Or you know, are looking for a walkthrough to figure out where that one is. Nah, it's kind of funny. I actually kind of have a lot to say about that Jiggy, because I feel like as an older gamer, I probably wouldn't find that one very easy today if I were playing this game for the first time. Whereas younger me would probably find it no problem, because B form, what's the first thing I'm going to do as a little kid? I'm going to fly as high as I can go, right? Whereas like older me, I don't know, I just probably wouldn't explore that way anymore, I guess. Anyway, that's probably a story for another video, or never, actually. It's time to start working on summer. As we enter here, we're going to get a message from the eagle up there looking for caterpillars. We'll be seeing those real quick, but first, let's talk about this yellow Jinjo over here in the corner. Look at that guy. I was looking at the analytics from my Jinjo guide, and that was like the most replayed part of the video. You can definitely see in the graph where which Jinjo people had the most trouble with. So if you're here looking for that last Jinjo, I'm willing to bet it was that one. It's just so difficult to see the little yellow Jinjo there in the yellow grass. His little ears do kind of pop out of the grass, but just barely. Anyway, with the water lowered here, as you can see, we broke open that boulder for Naughty the Beaver. Unfortunately, we cannot go inside that slope. Inside his house is way too steep to actually climb up. So he was willing to give us a Jiggy, but we actually cannot get up into his place to retrieve it. So that's something that we will yet again be waiting for another season to do. Real quick, dipping back there to unlock the autumn portion of Click Clock Wood. You may or may not need to do that. And we will be climbing up here. This is kind of the only... Well, there's another way using the leaves, but with the water gone, you're kind of forced to navigate this part of the level a little bit differently. Normally, you could just like swim around and gain access to these areas over here, but we kind of have to take the long way. Taking a quick glance down here to make sure I'm not going to jump directly into that Snare Bear. But that's our second caterpillar. I think I was blabbing about that yellow Jinjo. I didn't get to mention anything about the first caterpillar. That was near the entrance of the level. I'll go back to the caterpillars in a quick second, but first we're going to use the ground pound on poor Gobi here, who appears here in both summer and autumn. That's how we're going to water the plant, by basically stealing the water out of Gobi's stomach. Naturally. But yes, back to the caterpillars now. We're going to be needing 5 total caterpillars to feed the eagle in summertime. And actually, we'll need even more caterpillars when we return in fall. Did I say 5? There's 5 in summer, 10 in fall. Interestingly enough, though, there's actually more caterpillars than you actually need, so you can actually collect more than are required. That's kind of nice because it just kind of, I guess, relieves some pressure. You don't need to find every single one. Like if you miss 1 or 2, it's actually okay. I think I may actually be collecting... I think I collect 6 in this clip here, which I guess makes fall a little bit easier. But I'll be collecting 5 and 10 in each of those 2 seasons, just so you don't really need to think about collecting caterpillars from different seasons. Real quick, however, we're going to dip inside the Beehive, and like I said, we're going to be having choice words with these bees. And I try to demonstrate 2 different ways you could do it. I mean, this fight happens so fast. I was using the Rat-a-tat-rap ability. It's the ability where you jump and press the B button and Kazooie kind of pecks forward. It's like my favorite attack in the game. And I killed maybe half of them using that, but then you can just use gold feathers the whole time. I was just kind of showing the different ways you can do that. If you use gold feathers, that fight goes really fast. Anyway, back outside now. Gonna be doing these cute little jumps. Kind of spooky the first couple of times you do it, but you get used to it. Yet another caterpillar here. What number is this? Number 5. Oh, and it's time for the tree barn. Ah, the tree barn. Such fond memories of falling to my death right here. This Jiggy's pretty tough. Or at least I'll say that it's definitely harder than it looks. Since the whole problem is that the camera is locked, and you can't just go, you can't line up the camera and then just jump straight forward or straight to the side or straight, backwards. You just have to just jump at this, I don't know, kind of weird arbitrary angle because of the way the camera is. And there's nothing to it. You just jump the gap, right? But I'm telling you, it's tough. So if you fall there, yeah. No shame falling there once or twice. I won't judge. Anyway, taking a quick glance down here, you can see there's another jigsaw piece right there. I could have jumped down right then and there and then climbed back up, but I find that a lot harder than just doing what you're going to do up here and then jumping down and grabbing that one Jiggy on your way out. So that's what I'll be doing. Hopefully I explained that well enough. Basically, I'm going to come over here, take care of the one other thing that I need to do, which is feeding the eagle. And then we're pretty much going to be done in summertime here. And I'll be basically exiting the level. I'll be grabbing that Jiggy on the way out. So there we go. Feeding the eagle the 5 caterpillars. I think I said that I thought I collected 6 caterpillars in this clip. Apparently I'm a liar. I am sorry. I didn't know I was a liar, but I am, clearly. And that bird has a crazy metabolism, man. Digesting all of those caterpillars and literally growing before our eyes. Very impressive. And we're just heading back the way we came. I didn't get to mention that these birds here are kind of placed in a way that they sort of prevent you from doing your typical double jump there. But if you use the rat-a-tat wrap ability, basically with the same timing as your double jump, it basically kind of gives you a double jump, only this time with an attack, so that's kind of nice. But as you can see there, we just jumped straight down on top of that Jiggy, try to avoid, becoming bird food. Something I typically like to avoid. And here, I don't really know why I'm doing this. I'm basically just jumping down the way you could have climbed up there. Like that was probably the harder way of getting that Jiggy if you were to climb up those leaves, obviously in reverse order. And with that, we'll be leaving summertime. All done there. Leaving us with autumn. There's quite a bit of cleanup in autumn. There's a lot of things that you're setting up in summer and springtime. And now we're going to be basically cashing in on all of that. I'll probably say that it's probably the easiest to get around in fall or autumn. You got these big piles of leaves. There's caterpillar number 1 there. Again, we're looking for 10 caterpillars this time. But yeah, the piles of leaves are nice little ramps that'll get you up onto platforms and into certain areas that otherwise you'd have to, look for some other sort of ramp or jump up leaves to reach. Also, the water's back, which of course we're going to be using right now to swim up into Naughty's place, who apparently has been waiting very, very patiently since summer to give us our reward for destroying the boulder that was preventing him from getting into his house. I think that was an earthquake, by the way. I don't know if the camera's stuck on something, I don't know. Anyway, that was Jiggy number 5, halfway there. Feel like we've done a lot of work only to have 5 Jiggies, but that's kind of how this level works. You can still hear the Naughty house music. Even though we're nowhere near his house anymore. A little bug there, I think. Alrighty. Time to, time to finish off this flower, but we're going to grab a caterpillar number 2 real quick. And same thing here, nothing different this time. We're just going to ground pound Gobi again. And water that flower for the final time. And that is one pretty flower. Look at that. And Gobi's going to complain yet again. And run off to the lava world, which we will not see until the second game. Orange Jinjo there. But back to the flower. Yeah, we cannot... Don't fall into the trap of trying to climb up the flower from the ground level. I don't think you can do that. We're going to be dropping in from up above, which we will take a look at here in a little bit. Caterpillar number 4. And I think there is yet another inside Mumbo's place here. That was a fantastic jump, by the way. Completely missed. I was being so careful to miss the boots because I just didn't want them at the moment. That I just landed in thorns, man. Poor Mumbo there trying to sweep up all those leaves by himself. I think he should probably invest in a door, possibly. Figure with a door, there's probably not going to be so many leaves inside his house. But hey, what do I know? Going to be using the boots to cross through the thorns without taking damage. You probably already knew that, though. And we're going to gear up to start our climb. Yeah, I was not going to make that jump. I knew, like, the moment I pressed A, I'm like, I can't. the birds are actually different sizes depending on what season it is. So maybe you just can't make that jump in fall. That's kind of an interesting thing that I didn't think about until this very second. Another caterpillar over here, pretty much right where there was already one in summer. It's like just over a few steps. But yeah, look how huge those are. You're not jumping over those. As I just like kind of panic and just run through them. I'll be coming over here and visiting the hive for the 3rd time. This time for caterpillars. As I kind of stand there for a second, you can see that was me reading my notes. Usually you can't really tell that I'm reading notes as I'm doing these clips, but Click Luck Wood had like 2 pages of notes, so I had to find my spot. I didn't know if I actually had to come in here. But in this case, for the caterpillar, I do. Again, though, I did mention I think it was at the beginning of the summertime section of the video, there's actually more caterpillars than you need. In fall, there's actually 13 of them. So if you want to be technical, I guess you don't really need to go into the hive for the 3rd time to get that caterpillar. In summertime, there's actually 8 of them, which creates kind of an interesting situation where if you want, you could like try to find all of them in summer so that you don't have to like look so hard in fall. But I definitely don't ever think about it that way. I just grab the ones that I see. They're kind of out in the open. They're not exactly hidden like they are, like Jinjos are, you know? So just grab the ones that you see and you almost will always have enough. All right, it's time to help Nabnut out. Nabnut. That name. We're actually going to be looking for yet more things. This is like the level of collecting things. We got caterpillars, Jinjos, and acorns. That's going to be our 10th caterpillar there, so technically we are done. So I think these acorns are a little bit harder to find. One, the sounds that they do make kind of a boingy boing sound, but they're definitely more quiet, I would say. So you can't really use your ears like you can with the caterpillars or the Jinjos. The other thing is, a couple of these are in some pretty dangerous spots. We'll be taking a look at that in just a second. This one's not dangerous, but maybe you wouldn't expect an acorn to be up here in this other room. I don't really know what this is supposed to be, like a swimming pool or something. A swimming pool without a door, so the only way you get inside is through the window. Heading back outside now, though, we will see some of those nasty ones. So there's like this this sort of circular path up here. And there's 2 acorns up here. One you just kind of do a backflip for, no problem there. But the other one, you kind of have to do this leap of faith. There is another path down below, but my goodness, is it narrow. And the way I do this is I kind of line up the bottom path so that if I overshoot the acorn, it's not a problem. So like, see, I kind of like followed through with that, and it was fine. Whereas if you had done that jump at any other angle, you would pretty much have to get the acorn and then fall straight down. Like you'd have to kill your forward momentum and then fall straight down. And that's a lot harder than you might think. That 6th acorn there is also really sneaky. I don't know if it was intentional, but like, unless you turn the camera just right, you don't even really know that path leads down there. I don't know where that path is going, but at the bottom of it, of course, is the acorn. But yeah, like that larger platform that it connects to kind of blocks it. It kind of blocks you from seeing it. So make sure you're taking a look at all of those paths from all angles to be certain that you're seeing everything that you need to see. Also, by the way, on that last acorn, I think you need to be using the Talon Trot ability on that one, so don't go walking down that path without using Kazooie, or you'll slide right off all the way back down to the ground level. Opening up the wintertime portion of the map, and then we'll be feeding the eagle. There's actually another caterpillar directly behind the eagle here, like on the outer rim of the nest. I don't know if we're going to get a camera angle where we'll actually see that, but yeah, if you're short just one, and you haven't gotten that one, that's a nice, convenient one to get. In fact, I'm not really sure why the bird doesn't just turn around and eat it, but hey. Oh, you did kind of see it there, just for a second. Anyway, that's pretty much going to be it for fall. There is one other thing that we need to be doing, and that's going to be collecting the Jiggy on top of the flower. You didn't forget about that, did you? We actually sort of had an opportunity to get it before. It's just that once you hop down onto the flower, you kind of have to jump all the way back down to the ground level and start your climb back up the tree if you had more stuff to do. So this is kind of the same deal with that one Jiggy in summertime. This is something I do on my way out, so I don't have to like climb up the tree multiple times. So we're gonna come right back over here where we were on top of the hive when we were collecting those caterpillars. And we're gonna just jump pretty much straight down right at the opening of the hive there, and I totally was able to land on top of that thing, which is basically a crowning achievement of mine. And we're going to go ahead and get our 7th Jiggy in Click Clock Wood. Alrighty, and with that, 3 of the 4 seasons are now complete, and we will begin the long walk out of fall and into wintertime. Looks like we're coming up on the final few minutes here of the last part of my Jiggy guide. I want to give a personal shout out to anybody and everybody who's been hanging out watching these as I make them. I do appreciate it, thank you. Whether you're just catching this last part, Click Clock Wood, or you've been watching the entire series since Mumbo's Mountain, seriously, it means a lot. I'm hoping that at some point along the way you maybe learned something or found yourself entertained. Maybe you had a chuckle at one of my dumb jokes, I don't know. If you did, I hope you consider leaving the video a like or possibly subscribing to the channel. It doesn't require a whole lot of effort on your end, and it does help me grow. I do appreciate it. Anyway, with that said and out of the way, we'll be entering winter time here. Not a whole lot left, actually. We just got a Jinjo to collect and 2 more Jiggies. The blue Jinjo will actually be the final Jinjo of the series. He's going to be hiding over here on top of Mumbo's hut. In my Jinjo guide, I used the flight pad and mentioned that I was pretty sure that you could just hop up on top of Mumbo's hut without using the flight pad. So we'll go ahead and give that a shot, and sure enough, there you go. Got to kind of do a backflip up into that eye socket and then hop up on top of the head itself. So there you have it, for those of you who have not unlocked the flight pad, the thing that was unlocked in the 2nd level of the game. Not to worry, you do not need to go back to Treasure Trove Cove for that. We, having it unlocked, however, are going to go ahead and use it. We don't need to fly up to the eagle's nest. We can climb up it, as per normal. But the fact that there are flight pads in wintertime makes this part a lot easier for us. And it's around this point where I'm like, I think I may have gone the wrong way. This is the long way. And then, yes, as I look down, I see Mumbo's hut right down there. So if you use that flight pad, you can actually just fly straight up to where the eagle is. I took the scenic route again. And it's a very odd-looking eagle. Kind of looks more like a turkey to me, but I'm not an expert. And it is going to excrete our 9th Jiggy on Click Clock Wood. That's disgusting. It's really great to know that that's our reward for hand-raising that animal, that creature. I mean, we were here hand-feeding it like every moment. And I mean, by every moment, I mean like once a season, I guess. When we could make the time, once every 3 or 4 months. I mean, we were here being good parents. Anyway, it's time to get the final Jiggy. I actually kind of saved this one for last. I don't know, I think it's a really fitting final Jiggy. It's like up here at the top of the final level. You can actually get this Jiggy pretty much at any point. You can come up here in springtime or summer or fall. I kind of feel like waiting until the end is probably the best time to do it, because that staircase leading up here is it becomes more and more complete as the seasons go by, and you still have to jump up in wintertime. But for the most part, the stairs are done. Whereas if you were to do it in like springtime, there's like a couple of boards and you have to jump quite a few gaps, and it's kind of risky. But anyway, that's going to do it for all of the Jiggies on Click Clock Wood. Man, that was a long one. I'm kind of tired. I was trying to push that guy off the ledge. I'm not actually sure if you can do that. But yes, again, thank you so much for watching. Normally it's at this point where I'd tell you what level I'd be checking out next, but there isn't one. We're at the end of the game. As I do that, always fun to see ground pound into falling off a really high ledge and not taking any fall damage. Very nice. Anyway, though, I think I'm just going to go out simply by saying that I do hope you join me again sometime soon in the near future as I continue to make walkthroughs for your favorite games. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.